My initial reaction, it was really painful, you know. I actually didn't think I did it when I did it. So it was a bit of a shock when you told me, like, you should probably get this looked at. And then when Nathan, the physio, finally looked at the scans and he confirmed it, it was a bit of dread. I was like, oh, here we go again. But it was never a feeling of hopelessness, if that makes sense. Kind of because I've gone through it before with the other knee. But I guess knowing that knowing what it takes to get back to where I needed to be, it wasn't as daunting. Still a bit frightening because to actually have to go through it again. But definitely not completely hopeless, I think, when I did it. I think I decided to go no surgery because of you. If I didn't have you or someone to guide me through the non-surgical part, really someone that I trusted, if I was going through a random physio, then I probably would have gone with the surgery just to play it safe. But I've been here for 4 years now. I know how you work. I know how I know more about my body now because I've worked with you. So I guess knowing that and that I have that in my back pocket, just kind of okay, this could work, and it has. So it's really, really lucky. But yeah, it was the guidance really that assured me. Mentally, like I said earlier, when I did it to begin with, I was never completely holy crap, this is the end of the world. Purely because you've walked this road before, so it wasn't completely new to me. It was still kind of a hill to climb in that I knew okay, I've done it. If I get surgery, it's another at least 9 months. If I don't get surgery, it's probably going to be 9 to 12. Either way, knowing that there was an extended period of time where I needed to put in a lot of work and such, or I'm inhibited what I can do, was probably the part that kind of ate at me the most. But then again, I've been in the gym regularly for a while now, so I knew that in terms of my routine and how it's going to impact my life, it wasn't as bad as what I thought it was going to be. It's just I'm going to be doing different stuff here, rather than the regular stuff. Be doing rehab stuff, and you've drilled this into me now, so it's not completely new. So walking on quote unquote familiar ground was definitely a saving grace, mentally and physically. I think it kind of built me back up from the ground up, for lack of a better word. Definitely started with the big muscle groups, looking at how strong my hammies, my quads, my glutes were. Really working on that chain to make sure that if we were going to go non-surgical, that everything was in the right place to kind of build on that. Like I said previously, been lucky enough that I've been with you for a while, so we had a good foundation to work with. If I wasn't someone that went to the gym regularly, it would have definitely played a much bigger part in terms of that decision to go non-surgical. Just because I don't know if I would have had it, if I would have had the base to be we can probably pull this off. So yeah, and I guess with the rehab process, starting from there, and then really just building those to be as strong as they can be, refining that, and then getting to the technical stuff with the flexion, running patterns, and then more recently the jumping and the change of direction stuff. So really going at it layer by layer and making sure that we're set from the ground up. Yeah, it's really worked well so far. I know now that I'm confident in A, B, and C to pull off X, Y, and Z. So yeah, that's how kind of we've gone about it, which has been really helpful. So yeah. I think that step-by-step kind of approach that I mentioned earlier is a big part of it mentally. Because a lot of the stuff we've done over the past 9 to 12 months is always built on the previous block. So kind of finishing a block, knowing that I actually got through that pretty okay. I felt quite strong in the block. Meant that I could go into the next one, knowing that it was harder, but knowing that it just builds off the previous one. So I'm 80% of the way there, and now I'm just I'm adding on to what I've already got. Whereas if for whatever reason someone did it and just did everything all at once, it would be way too both mentally and physically just overwhelming. And then I think it would really like shake your confidence, because then you're going into the unknown. You know, like I don't know, example, like 1 week you got me doing like a type of squat, and then the week afterwards you got me doing like a harder variety of the same squat. And I'm like, okay, well I've done this, it's just slightly harder, like this is just slightly harder than this. And so it's like, I can take what I know from that and then like push myself here. Whereas like if that structure wasn't there, I don't think I would have been as like keen or like been like mentally ready or physically ready to like progress as much as we did. Like confidence is really there. Like we've tried a whole bunch of stuff now, you know, change of direction, landing while changing in direction, a lot of isometric stuff, a lot of, you know, a lot of like stimulus to really like test out the shakiness of the knee and like that whole kind of column. And look, I'm not going to say my glutes and my hammies feel primo after every tough session, because they definitely feel sore, but I guess that's a good sign that they're working. So like in terms of confidence in it, like I'm as confident now as I was before doing the knee, probably even more, knowing that like we've actually taken the time to like bolster everything. Like yeah, I don't see myself hesitating to do anything anymore, which is a really big part of like, you know, I guess getting back to the way things were. I can definitely tell that like my legs are not as bulky, but definitely like a lot more like focused in just their like the way that they move, and I guess the way that like my running and my landing and my change of direction mechanics have really been like fine-tuned since we've like gone on this process. You know, you've definitely kept me accountable, not like slowing down on like my conditioning and stuff, because I couldn't really run for the first like 6 months, but you were very good in making sure that like I kept a certain level of conditioning, to make sure that like the rest of my body kept up with everything, and not keeping everything too focused on this, but like making sure that everything was taken care of. I definitely feel lighter, thanks to you. Definitely feel like a sense of, weightlessness is not the right word, but like freedom, if that makes sense with my body. Like everything feels like it's coming a bit more less force, because everything is a lot more tuned up, because of what we've done. So yeah, our confidence is like at an all-time high, I guess. So I think I did it in November 2023, and I think I told you I played a game like November or December last year, and the only part that was really holding me back was the rust. Like the knee felt great, and like last week I played I think 2 hours basketball, which is probably not the smartest thing to do, but like nothing structural or like any change of direction stuff felt iffy at all. It was more like, yeah, like relearning basketball moves, I guess, because I've been out of it for like over a year. But the knee itself, it's primo, for lack of a better word. Like, you know, well, like I was back rock climbing like within what, 6 to 8 months after we started this. So like that was a big confidence boost, knowing that like I could already do that, and then just like going back here into the basketball stuff and like the plyo stuff. It's like, yeah, really confident, like no issues. I think people need to really invest a lot more time into it. Especially now that like, yeah, you and I are getting older. You and I, very specifically you and I, not in our prime age anymore. Like, you know, we used to kind of just bounce up and down from injuries, roll an ankle, tweak a knee, I'll be right the next day. But especially now, like my perspective now is that you really have to invest in it. Like it's very important that you put in the time and the effort, especially from something as big as like an ACL, that you take the time to like take care of it, and like build the blocks properly. Otherwise, like, yeah, you're just not going to be in the place that you want to be in whatever sport you're doing, and you're always going to be a step back, you know, either in performance or recovery. So like good structure, very important. Time and investment, very important. So yeah. If you were considering non-surgical, I think if I was you, I would ask like, how much time have you already put in the gym? Like what foundations do you have like in your body to be able to tell yourself that you can do the non-surgical way. Like I mentioned earlier, if you're someone that doesn't go to the gym regularly and don't have a good foundation in like your lower column and like your lower structure, I'd have a really honest conversation with your trainer or your physio about like what non-surgery will involve, because obviously you're going to be living the rest of your life without the ACL, and whether you have the blocks to kind of pull that off is kind of the big question I think you have to ask yourself, and be like your life structure as well. Like I said earlier, I've been lucky that I've had this routine of coming here kind of like week in, week out, and like having that structure of like, I'm gonna go to the gym, I go twice a week, I know what I'm in for. And if you don't have that structure, then you really need to like start thinking about how you're gonna put that into your daily routine or weekly routine, yeah. Everyone's been asking me if I'm going back to basketball or reffing. It's been a nice break, past kind of year and a half. I really focused on like other sports and other interests. But you know, I get a taste of basketball right here across the gym every time I'm here. So definitely somewhat keen to get my feet back on court. To what intensity or degree, don't know yet, but I know now, like, now it's not whether a question of if I can do it, it's more whether like, okay, how much do I want to do it? Like, how much do I want to get back into it? I've got full trust in my body now to kind of pull off whatever like we needed to pull off. So, but yeah, I guess, you know, getting back into the swing of things, for lack of a better word.